Hello friends and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Every year plant breeders send out samples of their brand new introductions and they look amazing, of course, in the catalogs and the pictures. But just because they're beautiful in print does not mean necessarily that they are going to grow, bloom, and thrive in our North Carolina Zone 8A gardens. So today we are creating a 2027 trial garden here at the chicken coop because I want to put these plants to the test. We're going to be trialing a ton of different annuals from 4 different plant breeders, and we are going to see how they perform in our North Carolina garden. So over the next several months, we will keep you updated to see if they deserve the spot as a Creekside Champion or not. So let me give you a quick little overview of the plants that we have. We have about 30 or 40 plants. We're not going to go through each one specifically, but I want to give you a general idea of the types of plants we have and then how we're going to incorporate them here in the trial garden up at the chicken coop. I've got the plants all laid out here up at the chicken coop. Brenna is doing a magnificent job of guarding them from any harm that may come their way. And so you will see that I already have some little terracotta, these are plastic terracotta pots, because some of these plants are gonna have to go into a container. Now I did say that they were all annuals. I misspoke because we do have one Ukora that will go into the shade garden. But we have got that Ukora, we have got some geraniums, my friends. You know geraniums are classic garden plants. We don't do any of those here at Creekside, so I am excited to try these out. We have got lots of calibrachoas, and you can see that's why, of course, calibrachoas do best in pots here in North Carolina. So those are going to go into containers. We have got a whole selection back there against that black tray. Those are all petunias. We have got Nemesia, we've got James Britannia, we've got a Biden, we've got verbenas, we have got osteos and lantana and salvia, coleus, dahlias, and a kufia, and then a gumfrena that Brenna knocked over. So we have got all sorts of fun. These are all going to be sun-loving plants, minus the Ukora, and then there was a begonia that I've already potted up and put into a container. So speaking of that begonia, let me show you right quick, because you know that I am a sucker for a begonia. I think they are so underused in the garden, and this one has great potential. It is going to be more of a shade-loving begonia, but it's nice and big, and she got prime real estate, friends. I'm not gonna lie. We've talked about this strawberry planter with the hostas in it. I did have a Nemesia. The Nemesia was not getting enough sun. So here we go. Look at this beautiful begonia, my friends. This is Eye Candy XL Deep Yellow. Beautiful, nice variegated foliage. We'll do that double bloom, and so it will fill in. That is one plant in a 1-gallon container. So we will let that one go and see how she does. Morning sun, afternoon shade. Very, very interested to see how this begonia does. While the Ukora and the begonia are going to be more for the shade, everybody else is full sun, and they are going to go in full sun. So to give you a point of reference where we are at the chicken coop is just here to my left, and I happen to have a little hole right here. Works out perfectly for these annuals. Now this is full sun, my friends. It is intense sun. It is on a slope. We have, of course, our classic red clay soil here in North Carolina. Jerry was sweet enough to come through, and we top dressed with some of the ultra outdoor planting mix because we do want to set these babies off for the best possible success. So we've top dressed nice and thick for that to amend that clay soil, but there is thick red clay underneath there. Like I said, it's on a slope. It is not on irrigation, so it'll either be the rain or I will water it. These are tough conditions, my friends. You will see, of course, that we have a ceramic pot here with an obelisk in it because I did get a mandevilla. Mandevillas, of course, are climbing. They love to have structure to climb. That will go in the center, and then I have, it's a nice deep red, and then we have got 2 red calibrachoas and 2 types of yellow calibrachoas that are going to go on each side. So I've got those set up right there. So we will plant those as well. So why is it important for us to trial these plants? Why do we want to plant them, put them through their paces, not baby them whatsoever? Why do we do that? Well, because of course, if they can survive my garden, then they can survive your garden. I am a tough love gardener. While I absolutely am going to set them up for success, we've amended the soil. We're going to use Biotone starter fertilizer. We're going to put down some slow release fertilizer for them. We're going to get them well watered in there. So we're going to take every precaution to set them up for success, but this is a very intense area. I need plants that can perform without being babied and coddled throughout the entire summer. Personally, I just don't have time for that. I know a lot of you out there, you don't have time for that either. We need low maintenance, high performing plants. So that is why we're going to test them. I fully suspect that there's going to be some messes and there are going to be some great successes. If we come out with 2 or 3 plants that we're like, my gosh, this is amazing and I love it, then this will be a massive success. So that is why we are going to do this. Now, because this is a trial garden, my folks who are looking for some design tips, it's going to be a bit of a struggle because there are a lot of onesies in here. Like there's only maybe like 1 of each kind of petunia. We've got 1 Syngenta sunflower. I've got like 1 of each of the dahlias. So this is not really a design and how to design a garden because it is a trial garden. Obviously, I will work my best to make sure that it makes sense design-wise, but I'm not focused on that. I am focused on getting these babies in the ground. It is a beautiful, cool, cloudy day today. We had some rain last night, gonna have some rain today, so this is perfect timing. They're not gonna go through transplant shock and get them in the ground. So what I am going to do essentially is figure out where these are gonna go. I'm gonna set them out. Of course, I know my container. And then I'll meet you back here and we'll kind of run through real quick about the placement of the plants, maybe dive into just a little bit of detail. We're not going to go through each one. I would bore you to tears with all of these different plants. We just want to see which ones thrive here in North Carolina this summer. A little bit of a rain shower, but that's all right. After the past heat we've had, I'll take a cool rainy day in the garden. It's gonna pass here in just a second. So, got all of the plants placed. Just really quickly show you kind of where they are and kind of like how I designed it in as best I could. When I was placing the plants, I was trying to think about, let's put some colors together that make sense. So here's kind of like a pink area. We've got a beautiful pink petunia. This is gorgeous. Then behind that is a bicolor trailing, more of a spreading habit of a geranium on that. A really cute pink bicolor Biden. We've got that Gumfrina right there. A verbena, another petunia, a fun dahlia, a very light pink, and then a nice petunia that has that pink with that like ruffled edge with that a little bit of a deeper pink, a James Britannia, and then that poor little pot there in the back, that is a salvia. It suffered a little drought. It's coming back. We're gonna try it. Let's see how tough she is. She is a light pink one as well. So this is kind of like a pink corner. Then kind of moving over here, a little bit more bold colors. We have got that Biden that is the bicolor, the yellow and the red. We've got purples, we've got a red Penta. Then there we have got the Sunfinity Sunflower, because it's gonna be probably one of my biggest ones. A purple petunia, more James Britannia, the Kufia, it suffered a drought, it'll be fine. And then let me flip around to the other side. Because the container is going to be that red and yellow, then we kind of continue that around the base of the plant, the pot rather. So we have got a really fun chartreuse coleus. I thought that would be really pretty against the perennial hibiscus. That is more of a darker color behind that. Then we have got 2 orange osteos. They're the same kind of osteo, so I'm just going to put those together. And then a red petunia, a red James Britannia, I think that is, or that's an Nemesia, maybe it's a Nemesia, and then we transition into yellow petunia, and then purples and pinks, and then we have the lantana. So we are just gonna have lots of bold color here and have fun with it. Even though it's raining, this is actually a perfect time to plant. It may not seem like ideal conditions to plant when it's a cloudy, rainy day, but my goodness, honestly, for the plants, this is the perfect time to do it, because they are going to get nice and watered in, and I don't care who you are. The Lord's water is so much better than any kind of water I can put on it with a hose. So this will get them nice and settled in. I'm still going to water them with the hose just because we're in such a drought, but the rain is a great thing. There it is cloudy. They're not going to have that transplant shock. It is not 95 degrees outside in full hot sun, so they're not going to melt. They're going to be very happy. I am going to set everybody up for success. Let me show you my tools, and then we're going to get these babies in the ground. As we make our way to the tools, the containers, I'm going to plant them the same way. They obviously can get tucked into little nooks and crannies, and if somebody outgrows that spot, you know, on the ground, we can move it. That's the beautiful thing about pots. So we'll incorporate those into the landscape once the other plants have been planted. Now, so what I have, even though we have amended the soil, there is still the red clay underneath it. So I'm going to use, it's the Jenny's Edition. This is the 2.5 inch heavy duty auger, because these are like a 4 inch like short pot. So I'll just do a little wiggle with it and just work it in. So if I hit any clay, it'll incorporate that with the compost. It'll work great. Of course, everybody gets the Biotone starter fertilizer. This is for root growth. And then I will put down some slow release fertilizer for that continuous feeding, because annuals tend to be heavier feeders, so they need that nice slow release fertilizer throughout the season. So let's get to planting. My friends, we have got all of the plants planted. Jerry came in and helped me in the last pinch because a storm's coming in. We got some thunder, so we're gonna move with purpose. Before I forget, I want to say a big thank you to these 4 plant companies for sending us these trials. But make sure you get it. So Mast Young Plants, Syngenta, Danziger, and Selecta One. Thank you so much for sending us these plants, because hopefully, my prayer is that they're all great plants and that we can add them all to the Creekside Champions line. Let me show you really quickly before I get struck by lightning what everything looks like. Went ahead and got all the, of course, the pots planted as well, tucked them into the space and just working them in. Jerry did water in the plants that had already been planted, and then the rain is doing a great job, so I will just kind of gauge everything to see how it is all doing. But we have a lovely little selection right here. The 2027 trial plants. Cannot wait to see how they do, how they perform. And then I think this one is going to be so fun just because it brings some architectural interest and some height to the garden. That mandevilla in there, and then the yellow and red different caliber koas. It is going to be great. So we are going to cut this a little shorter than I had anticipated. Again, don't want to get struck by lightning. So as always, we hope you found it fun, informative, inspirational. We will totally keep you up to date on this, the messes, the successes. We'll also find out if they're rabbit proof, because you know I deal with rabbits, not deer, but rabbits. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.